there was a video put up about Temu, and this is it here, right? So by Chinese business like small business owners on Temu, and we've discussed Temu before on this channel. Under this,
Don't mess with Temu. Don't mess with Temu. Don't mess with Temu. Let me say it 3 times, just to make sure it's clear. I'm not just talking out of nowhere here. There's a solid reason behind what I'm saying. It's all about Temu's supply bidding system. Here's the deal. If your price is higher than the others, Temu hits you up to lower it. And if you don't comply, they hit you with restrictions. It's like they're forcing you to cut your prices. And guess what happens when you do? They turn around and let your competitors know so they can do the same. It's a never-ending cycle, squeezing sellers' profit margins left and right. And you know what? It's causing some serious issues. Lower profits per products means sellers start cutting corners to make a buck, which ultimately means squeezing their employees for more work and squeezing their suppliers for cheaper materials. And here's the kicker. All these products are made right here in our country. It's like they're forcing us to squeeze our own people. Crazy, right? Low prices are Temu's most powerful weapon in quickly capturing the market. Through Temu, overseas consumers can bypass local large discount stores and buy directly from Chinese manufacturers. And the prices are so low that many Americans are searching, is Temu legal? Behind Temu's platform with its low-priced goods stands silently a group of sellers. One seller admitted, "Your fate is in its hands, not yours." It's more like a platform that professionally kills sellers. Many sellers who have experienced Temu understand fully. Counting the operations of Temu since its launch, the pitfalls and troubles leave sellers helpless. Many buyers advise, don't choose Temu, it will lead to unhappiness. On March 20th, last year's annual performance report of Pinduoduo, the company that owns Temu, was announced. Throughout 2023, Pinduoduo's revenue was 247.6 billion yuan, approximately $34.2 billion, a year-on-year increase of 90%. Net profit was 60 billion yuan, approximately $8.3 billion, a year-on-year increase of 90%. The reason why Pinduoduo's financial report for this year is so impressive is largely due to its overseas revenue. In 2023, Pinduoduo's overseas version of Temu's transaction service revenue reached 94 billion yuan, approximately $13 billion, a year-on-year increase of 241%. Based on the financial data of Pinduoduo for the same period in 2022 and the financial data for the third quarter of 2023, it is estimated that in the fourth quarter of 2023, the overall revenue brought by Temu may exceed 25 billion yuan, an increase of more than 7.4 billion yuan from the third quarter of 2023. Since its launch in September 2022, Temu has rapidly expanded globally, currently landing in 50 countries and regions, and has become the second largest retail website in terms of global traffic. In January of this year, the global registered independent users reached 467 million. Through interactive games and community sharing marketing methods, Temu has become the #1 e-commerce platform in the United States in just a few months. The number of monthly active users in the United States exceeds 51 million. The operating model of Temu is different from that of most cross-border platforms. Merchants supply goods to the platform, and the platform is responsible for product selection and pricing, holding the final pricing power. Currently, Temu's approach is similar to Pinduoduo's early years: extreme focus on user attraction, cost reduction, squeezing of sellers, and advertising investment. At the supply chain end, Temu's extreme pressure on suppliers has forced sellers to reduce costs or even sell at a loss. Otherwise, they will be delisted. According to the owner of a perfume and aromatherapy factory in Yiwu, Chen Ran, after opening a store on Temu for about 2 months, he suddenly received a call from Temu's customer service. They told Chen Ran that the sales situation of his products set on Temu was not ideal, and then proposed 2 solutions. One is to reduce the price, and the other is to return the goods from the warehouse to the factory, but the freight needs to be borne by Chen Ran. After calculating the freight and profit margin, Chen Ran realized that there was still some profit to be made by reducing the price. Chen Ran, who opened the store on Temu for the first time, agreed to the plan to reduce the profit margin by 50%. However, this price reduction did not bring about a change in sales. Not long after, Temu's customer service called Chen Ran again for the same reason. He said, "The cost is 40 yuan. The selling price dropped from 50 yuan to 45 yuan, and then down to 38 yuan for clearance sale. From making a profit to breaking even, after several communications, it has reached a level of selling at a loss and clearing the warehouse." Chen Ran sighed, "In less than half a year, I lost 2 million yuan. Many Chinese factories with similar experiences to Chen Ran's are not uncommon. Whether on social media platforms or within online communities, cross-border e-commerce traders who have worked with Temu often face huge losses or meager profits. Another typical case is that of a seller on Temu who has a considerable number of orders with monthly sales of 50,000 units, but the gross profit is only a few hundred yuan. With 400,000 orders, the profit is only 7,000 yuan, and the average profit per order is less than 2 cents. Temu squeezes Chinese domestic manufacturers and the sellers in order to reduce costs, squeeze their employees. So workers may have to work 12 hours a day with high intensity and low wages. Either work overtime or lose your job. Workers don't have much choice. Many merchants have begun to resist Temu. Chen Ran said, "Now Yiwu has formed an alliance to resist Temu. Many factories engaged in selling to the overseas market will go on TikTok and AliExpress and boycott Temu." According to an industry insider, recently, a group of sellers holding banners gathered downstairs of Temu's Guangzhou headquarters with slogans such as "Protest," "Pinduoduo Temu maliciously tricks and cheats sellers." Witnesses estimated that there were more than 30 sellers gathered downstairs of Temu that day, all wearing white or black t-shirts with slogans like "Justice to the sellers" printed on them. According to one of the sellers, they choose this way of safeguarding their rights out of helplessness because Temu has introduced new rules to squeeze sellers, almost pushing many small and medium-sized sellers to the brink. This is not the first time that sellers have protested in front of the Temu headquarters. In October last year, a large number of sellers received TROs, temporary restraining order emails, and their funds were frozen. Consequently, some sellers gathered at the headquarters to hang banners. "Temu doesn't pay. No money to pay wages. Temu, give back my hard-earned money." Temu's business model has also been criticized by European countries in America. Political figures in the UK and the United States accuse the e-commerce giant of allowing goods produced by forced labor to be sold on its website. Last year, Alicia Kearns, chair of the UK Parliament's Foreign Affairs Select Committee, told the BBC that she hoped to conduct a more rigorous review of the online marketplace to ensure that consumers are not inadvertently contributing to the Uyghur genocide. Yep. It is well known that the CCP kidnapped slave labor to become the world's sweatshop. Chinese products rely on limited human rights, cost-cutting measures, environmental degradation, and government subsidies. Products from other countries simply cannot compete. Forcing free labor from prisoners is a long-term policy of the CCP. Since the CCP came to power, prisoners have been transported from inland China to Xinjiang, forcing them to contribute to Xinjiang's economic development in harsh desert conditions. Xinjiang now has the highest proportion of prisoners per capita in China. In addition to Uyghur labor camps, there are more than 80 prisoners in Xinjiang. In comparison, the population of Shandong province is more than 4 times that of Xinjiang, yet there are only 25 prisons. Under the influence of capital coercion and the weight of performance objectives, Temu has prioritized financial gain over all other considerations. The relentless exploitation of the supply chain is extreme, causing immeasurable harm to society. Many analysts argue that while Pinduoduo has emerged as a prominent Chinese company, its business model has stifled the path to industrial advancement in China, potentially regulating it to being a global factory focused on meager profits. Temu has introduced a strict penalty system where sellers are held accountable for product quality issues. Even instances like transportation damage beyond the control of the sellers can result in fines. For example, cases of mold or damage during shipping incur fines of 500 yuan per order, while discrepancies between product descriptions and actual items lead to fines of 1,000 yuan per order. Products with no sales for a month are returned to the seller, with a shipping cost borne by the seller. Some sellers have expressed grievances on social media stating, out of 200 orders, 190 were refunded, and there's a possibility of facing a platform fine of up to 50,000 yuan due to quality issues. Moreover, data security concerns have plunged Temu into a trust crisis. Various Temu apps have been found to severely infringe on user privacy, with all browsing activity resulting in related recommendations across all apps. Earlier reports exposed Temu's exploitation of vulnerabilities in smartphone security systems for data theft, while the April report from the US-China Economic and Security Review Commission also accused Temu of data and supply chain risks. On February 28th, President Biden signed an executive order to prevent sensitive American personal data from being misused by concerning countries. The White House press release stated that most personal and sensitive information, including genomic data, biometric data, personal health data, geolocation data, financial data, and certain kinds of personally identifiable information can be used for intrusive surveillance, scams, blackmail, and other violations of privacy. Professor of Telecommunications Engineering at National Taiwan University, Tsung-Nan Lin, stated on March 27 that Temu faces similar issues. He said that when people shop on e-commerce platforms, they inevitably leave behind information such as name, address, phone number, credit card details, and even personal shopping habits. If only a small number of people use it, it's mostly a matter of personal data leakage. However, if more and more people use it, it becomes a national security issue. Lin also stated that even if this data is stored on overseas servers, it can still be accessed by the Chinese parent company because its algorithms are based in China. Therefore, it is very easy for the Chinese government to obtain it. China's anti-espionage law is very broad, and any Chinese citizen or Chinese company has an obligation to provide the government with the information it needs. In fact, there is no such thing as a private enterprise in China. Lin further mentioned that if there are backdoors in mobile phone applications, this will lead to even more information leaks. Anders Core, publisher of Journal of Political Risk and head of Core Analytics, raised a concern. In a commentary article at the end of 2022, Core said that Temu defeats competitors with products priced below market costs. In this way, the company can selectively target American manufacturers, eliminate them with low-priced products, and then introduce monopoly high prices or achieve political goals by controlling product supply. He wrote, Beijing has used that playbook before. Core also said that Temu's goal may be to replace Amazon. He warned that delaying intervention until Temu is firmly established in the United States could present challenges akin to those posed by TikTok.
Yeah.
If the extreme price war is considered Temu's first weapon, then burning money for marketing frenzy is its second weapon. In January 2023, Temu placed as many as 9,000 advertisements on Meta. In February, during the Super Bowl, Temu aired 2 videos lasting several tens of seconds, costing $14 million, setting a record for the highest price of advertising in the event's history and becoming the youngest brand to advertise in the Super Bowl. According to Media Radar data, Temu's advertising spending surged by as much as 1,000% from January to November 2023. Additionally, according to research firm Bernstein's estimate, in the US market alone, Pinduoduo's advertising spending in 2023 exceeds $3 billion, making it one of the largest online advertisers in the United States. Temu's extreme price war is wreaking havoc on the European and American markets. Pinduoduo obviously realizes the risks and has tried to downplay its Chinese background. According to documents submitted by Pinduoduo to the US Securities and Exchange Commission in May last year, its headquarters has been relocated from China to Ireland, with the company's principal executive office in Dublin. However, this news caused a stir in China. Faced with dissatisfaction from many nationalistic Little Pink supporters, a Pinduoduo spokesperson stated, "The news that Pinduoduo's headquarters has been relocated from China to Ireland is seriously untrue and a complete misinterpretation." The spokesperson emphasized that Pinduoduo was born in Shanghai, grew up in China, and its headquarters will always be in Shanghai, China. Temu's product pricing is known for its steep discounts. A key factor is that products are shipped directly from Chinese factories to the United States without incurring taxes. To allow American
Talked about that
tourists to bring
before, right?
souvenirs home without declaring them to customs, U.S. trade laws have an exemption provision called de minimis, which allows goods valued at less than $800 to enter the United States without inspection or duty. In contrast, items shipped from the United States to China are only exempt from taxation if they are valued at less than $7. Critics believe that Temu and its Chinese competitor, Shein, have exploited this legal loophole to avoid millions or even billions of dollars in taxes, gaining an unfair advantage over domestic American companies. Kim Glass, president and CEO at the National Council of Textile Organizations, said, "We cannot continue to reward China for egregious trade practices at the expense of American regional manufacturers and workers." Data from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection shows that in 2023, as many as 1 billion parcels entered the United States through the de minimis loophole, a significant increase from the 685 million parcels the previous year. The low price strategy is not a one-size-fits-all treasure trove. While consumers are amazed by their prices, they also have concerns about product quality and safety, with many stating that they will never use this platform to purchase goods again. One user on social media expressed, "I bought from Temu once. It was my first and last time. The poor quality surprised me. China's e-commerce is astonishingly damaging and destined not to last. It burns one industry and extinguishes another, so it won't last long." Another said, "To be honest, I've ordered from Temu several times, and like Wish, they were all poor quality products. And being fooled a few times, I won't place any more orders. The quality is much worse than Amazon." Many buyers also reported frequently receiving counterfeit goods when purchasing branded items through Temu stores, with rampant issues particularly prevalent in the categories of electronics and cosmetics. Furthermore, the negative shopping experience from Temu includes undelivered packages, unclear charges, order confusion, and poor customer service. According to the U.S. Better Business Bureau, they received over 900 complaints about Temu in a relatively short time. While Temu expands globally, it has been repeatedly accused of environmental damage, tariff evasion, and exploitation of labor. Moreover, since Temu has not officially partnered with many major brands but rather sells counterfeit products, this has also raised concerns among industry insiders about the intellectual property infringement. Bernard Egger, managing director of the Swiss Retail Association, said, "The issues surrounding piracy, ethical production, and the entire supply chain are extremely worrying. The rapidly expanding cross-border e-commerce platform Temu is encountering a growing array of policy risks. For example, some U.S. lawmakers have proposed to ban the Temu platform from the U.S. market. On June 22, 2023, a report from the U.S. House of Representatives Committee stated that Temu violated U.S. tariff regulations and had tax evasion issues. According to media reports, recent U.S. lawmakers are drafting bills to revoke the tariff exemption for low-price imported goods to counter low-price competition. Temu has received serious warnings in Germany. On March 27, the Federation of German Consumer Organizations issued a severe warning to Temu, stating that its arbitrary discounts and questionable reviews severely disrupt market order.
So, not only do they damage their own retailers' ability to make money, not only do they use that to take away profits from other retailers because they use them against each other to lower and lower and lower, they keep finding them more. On top, if they, if they get things on late, things get damaged on the way, they have to pay, and for whatever reason, all this so that you, the consumer, can get really cheap stuff at the end of, in your mailbox, right? And then also you also get crap, low-end knockoffs or poor quality product as well. So not only the retailers are getting on Temu is getting shafted, but so are you. But that's all gets balanced out because we all want cheap stuff. And because we want cheap stuff, we're allowing Temu to basically run roughshod over everybody, all their manufacturers, everybody else that works for them. Even the people that are working for them are basically slave laborers are making those products, right? The Uyghur. But you and I don't care, because until we realize that buying cheap stuff is actually hurts people, and if we feel like it's hurting us, then we won't, we'll carry on along with it. That's the way it works, right? And most time, if it doesn't affect me personally, why should I care? And so Temu's been around to, it's going to be basically monopolizing how the internet works when it comes to purchasing power, when it comes to online shopping, especially when it comes to products that you need, like clothing, smells, smelly perfumes, all that stuff, kitchenware and all that. I remember buying a friggin' someone who bought and on sold from China, and the product was so bad I can't even use it because it's supposed to be a lamp, right? So I could put my like a handle which I could put my webcam on, and I could move the webcam around, and I haven't been able to do that because it doesn't work, and I wasted money on it, and I'm not going to buy another product until I find someone or something that's actually better. That's actually I should have just spent $50 and $30 because I didn't realize it was from China, because the person was based in New Zealand, right, in Christchurch somewhere. And so I didn't realize it was one of those drop shipping things. Ended up with a product of substandard, sub-quality, and totally unusable, right? And so I was like, yeah, that's the last time. I'm not even bother. I'd rather just go to buy some from their stores. And that's what I've been basically doing. It's like, well, I need to know if it's bought locally, because it affected me, right? It cost me. I got junk. And so I'm like, yeah, this is how I'm going to behave, right? I'm going to change my view about these things. And I think that's really what it comes down to, is that until it affects us personally, we don't change our habits. And, and the guys, it's worthwhile watching what the manufacturers themselves are saying, what the suppliers are saying, what it costs them to actually be on the site that is actually abusing them and their own workers, and using prison labor and using slave labor to create those products. But we all know this, but sometimes that news is kept away from us because it's kind of a negative thing, and we don't like negative news. So hopefully, thank you for joining me. Hopefully, you watch this and you realize, maybe buying from Temu is not a good thing, because it's got long-reaching arms that will affect us in generations to come because of the way it's behaving. It's behaving like a freaking monopoly, and it's trying to be a monster who stomps on everybody else to get above. And when you look at it, it's like it's grown so quickly because of the way they behave. It's basically, we got slave labor, don't have to pay them, now you get it cheap.